Yes, we can start.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So, hello and good evening, everyone. We all know that today's 15th of August, a day to celebrate for every Indian, as it's a day marked as our 74th Independence Day. And on this auspicious occasion, we have a guest from all the way Virginia to join with us today for a session, live session, which is going to be like a session very close to my heart because this session is about forgiveness over punishment. Ma'am, let me introduce our speaker to you all. So our speaker is Miss Kia Scherr, ma'am, from Virginia, a woman who lost her family in 26/11 attacks. We all know about 26/11 attacks, an attack that took place in various locations in Mumbai that shook not only India but also many people from different countries have lost their families in the attacks. And ma'am was one of them who lost her family in those attacks. But ma'am chose to forgive Kasaab. She chose she chose love over hatred. And she's also so currently ma'am is also part of a forgiveness project. So, and ma'am will be speaking on the topic transforming life with love. So over to you, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It is such a great honor for me to be with you all on this very auspicious day in India. A huge, great honor because ever since my husband and daughter lost their lives in your beautiful, amazing country, I have felt a part of India because their blood was spilled on the grounds there. And when I visited there, I realized that part of my own DNA is now part of the soil of India. And so it remains in my heart, whether I'm there in person or not. I am connected with you for the love of the country that you have. And the times that I spent there, I experienced that. The great love all of you have, whatever religion you are, and there are many religions in India. Hindu is the main one, but I met many Muslims and Sikhs and Buddhists and Christians, and many others as well. And every population there. And so it doesn't matter to me what religion the terrorists were, whether they were Muslims or not. They were not following their religion because my experience with meeting all of you from those various religions, the basis of it is love, and it is about loving your neighbor. And when we have something violent, like a war or a terrorist attack, it's happening because people have forgotten. They have forgotten who they really are on the inside and what connects us all as human beings. First and foremost, we are human beings on this planet, human beings in a particular place at a particular time, sharing the experience of life itself. And it's that sacred experience of life that connects us. It is this love for life that connects us. So when we come back to that, when we forget and we could just get disconnected from it to whatever extent, large or small, we are then capable of creating harm and separation and division. If it's a very deep connection, we're able to then commit murder and crime and violence. But that's not who we really are. This is a demonstration of what we've forgotten when we witness things like that happening. And so, to me, forgiveness is a bridge back to the love that we all are. It's a bridge back to peace. We can think of forgiving as simply a bridge. It doesn't right any wrongs. It doesn't change what happened. It doesn't condone any act that was hurtful or despicable, such as a terrorist attack or any number of things that hurt other people. It's an act of compassion. It's for us so that we return to love, because if there was an act of violence, love was lacking. And so, in order to contribute a counterbalance to that, we can always bring forth love. We do not need to be held hostage by any act of violence. It doesn't mean that the law should not be followed. So that needs to be in place if there was an act of violence. I'm not saying that criminals should be let off the hook, not in any way whatsoever. That has to be followed. But for us personally, we do not need to suffer and have our lives ruined for the rest of it by holding on to anger, hatred, and revenge. Those things are toxic and eat us up, and they inhibit and contract our hearts, and it obstructs our ability to love. And love is what has the greatest power. It has the greatest power to solve our problems, to solve our conflicts, to strengthen us, to strengthen our connections. We need all of us, each and every one of us, to get through this challenging times that we're in right now. It's challenging out there. Our health is at risk, among many other things. Our jobs, our economy, everything is affected by this. So the best way to do this is we need each other now, more than ever. It's more than ever to first and foremost love ourselves, strengthen ourselves, keep ourselves healthy, do everything we know to strengthen our immune systems and be healthy. And secondly, to help others be healthy and strong on all levels, mental, physical, and emotional, spiritual, to join hands and to recognize our strengths rather than blame and focus on our weaknesses. Those will always be there. We cannot deny those things. But in order to resolve some of those conflicts, we have to bring forth the strengths. And there is strength in love. Love is the great glue that connects us. It's the connecting point. So we need to refrain from judgment and come into the heart so that we can contribute and be part of the solution. Each of us has immense creativity within us, unbounded creativity. And one of the things I saw when I was in India is that unbounded creativity, especially in the young Indians. The fact that you're doing a webinar like this, the fact that you are sending forth this message shows me where your hearts lie and the power that you have. There is so much power here, so much goodness, so much purity, so much strength. So much. You have so many numbers there. So much to offer this world. And this is a special day. It's your Independence Day, where you can all join hands for the love you share for your beautiful, amazing country. Yes, you are amazing Indians. And there is a spirit of Mumbai that lives in every Indian, whether you live in Mumbai or Delhi or Hyderabad or whatever city you live in, Bangalore, any of them. So I believe in you, and I'm inspired by you. I was inspired when I lived in India during those times. I was inspired by the receptivity that you had toward a message of peace in response to an act of terror. You were all so receptive. It was just amazing the events you created around that. Now on the memorial of the terrorist attack is to honor those that lost their lives, to honor and respect them, and at the same time to celebrate peace and to celebrate with love the life that we all share, which is sacred in every single one of us. And just remember that that sacredness has been forgotten in some, and that is what enables them to create harm. So to overcome any conflict, no matter where it is, we need to join together. And to trust in your ability to do that. to be accepting of what's happening, no matter what it is in your personal life or on a national level, but to also know that you have it within you to solve any conflict if you join together in strength and in love. Life can be transformed with the power of love. I know this because I lost everything. My sons and I both, I have two grown sons, and they joined with me to answer terrorism with love and compassion and forgiveness. And this has enabled us to move on in our lives so that we are not held hostage, so that we are not just living a life of despair and depression. Yes, I still grieve. Yes, I still cry. But my heart is open. And most important of all, I still love. And in fact, there is more love than ever because I've made so many new friends in India in particular. I have a special place in my heart for all of you, and I believe in you. And I see what's possible in India. I see what's possible. And I know that you can overcome any challenge. As long as you join together, accept your differences, learn from your differences, strengthen each other with your differences, whether they're beliefs in religion or politics or whatever they are. There is strength in unity. And you all know that. You get it. You get it. And that's why I'm here talking to you. That's why you invited someone like me to be able to talk to you. Isn't that amazing in itself? And the fact that you are willing to listen to someone like me, to me, says a lot about you. So thank you, India. Thank you for giving my life back to me when I thought it was over. I'm really grateful to you all. And whatever I can do to support your efforts to bring forth a strong India, an India with much to offer for the world in business and education, leadership, spirituality, I'm here for you. And all of this is based in love. And there is no distance in love. It doesn't matter what country we're from. Love travels in an instant. Thank you.
Ma'am, I can see tears rolling down from your eyes.
Yes,
I know how hard it is for you to recall the same memories and going down the same memory lane again and again and like repeating the same track of story again and again. But also, I want to appreciate you for this thing, ma'am, that you are a true inspiration for most of us. You are a true inspiration for most of us because your story inspires us. Your story inspires us to forgive. And let me tell all my viewers one thing that it was, I guess, last year. It was last year when there was this documentary film telecasted on Star Plus titled as Rubru Roshni, where I first saw Ma'am's story, and that was the day. I still remember if Ma'am would have the idea or would have the glance, she might know that that was the day I texted her on Messenger on Facebook, and
yes,
I asked her, Ma'am, one day I'll be like taking a session with you, and after 1 year today, on this auspicious occasion, a day where we can promote peace, we are together. Me and Ma'am are together to promote peace on this auspicious and special day. So, ma'am, thank you. And, ma'am, like, I have one or two small questions from you.
Okay.
Like, we all are curious. So, I just have one or two small questions.
Okay.
So, firstly, ma'am, I'm sorry because I know these questions might hurt you, but still, and you might again have to go back to the same memory lane. But again, ma'am, I have just small questions. So, the
Okay.
first question is how hard it was for you to forgive a person who was a member of a team responsible for ending up lives of your family members.
Those terrorists were about the same age as one of my sons, and I simply saw them as lost souls, young men who lost their way. They got disconnected from themselves, from their own heart and soul. They were brainwashed. And even those who brainwashed them were disconnected, lost sight of the true humanity within. And that is what I'm forgiving. Um, and so I knew that I just could see so clearly what had happened. And I could see so clearly that I did not want to leave the memory of my husband and daughter lying on the floor of that restaurant. I wanted to rise above that. And I wanted to bring forth the opposite message because I did not want to be held hostage by terrorists. So if they're going to hate, I'm going to love. And if they're going to destroy life, I'm going to affirm life and I'm going to honor life. And I'm going to love my neighbors. And I will love those that have a different belief system than I do because they're human beings. And together we are all neighbors in that sense on the planet Earth. That's what I, so there's really, in that sense, it was beyond forgiveness, really. Now, this does not mean that I was not in favor of the lone surviving terrorist, Ajmal Kasaab, being arrested, put in prison. He was executed. I happened to be in India at that time. I felt if he could have, he lost his right to live as a free man, totally. He should never have been let out of prison. But I felt he could have possibly played a role to help prevent terrorism if he could have been re-educated. But that was not meant. That was not going to be. He needed to be, in terms of the law of the land, he needed to be executed by hanging. That happened. I accepted it. Fine. And that has nothing to do with the forgiveness. That's what had to happen, and that's it. But forgiveness comes from a much deeper place, and sometimes it does take time. Like in the film that you saw, Rubru Roshni, we saw three stories, and it took
Yes,
years
ma'am.
for those other stories. And I totally understood that. That is an emotional film to watch.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
emotional, but it's human, and it underlying it is love. So if you want to experience love on a deep level, watch that film, and you will cry most likely. But they're
Yes, I
tears that are
cried.
based
I
in
cried.
love. So
I
yes, it's
cried
worth
after
it, isn't
watching that,
it?
and
Thank
that's
you
why I
for
texted you. And I that's why after watching that film, the first thing I did was I texted you on Facebook, and I wasn't expecting a reply also, but hopefully you replied.
I didn't realize there were messages coming in there. And at some point I ended up seeing the messages, and I think I replied to the ones that were there, but it might have been much later. And I apologize if there was a delay. But as soon as I saw there were
No,
messages, I replied. Yes.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, it takes a very big heart to forgive a person. Not only in that term, in other terms also. People think that why should I forgive a person? Why should I forgive a person? The first question arises that let me say a bit things in Hindi because people in India will understand better that उसने मेरे साथ ये किया तो मैं उसको क्यों माफ करूं? उसने मेरी साथ ये किया मैं उसको क्यों माफ करूं? But on your part, you forgave a person, like a person who was a member of a team responsible for multiple bomb blasts in Lucknow. Sorry, not in Lucknow, in Mumbai. In
Yes.
Mumbai. So, ma'am, did you face any oppression from people or from society for your act of forgiveness?
No, I did not. I was questioned about it, but I did not face any opposition to it. I knew that I understood. I was in India about over a period of about 6 years. So I was there for about six of the memorial anniversaries of that attack. And I have compassion for the citizens of Mumbai and the police who lost their lives and all of the other survivors and family members. And I understood the anger. I understand that. And I know there was always a shaking of fists and feeling of injustice. And I totally understand that. I felt for me, in order to live with it and to live with myself, forgiveness was a choice. But if someone chooses not to forgive, I respect their choice not to forgive. I'm not preaching and saying what everybody should do. I'm saying what brought me back to a state of peace and what enabled me to be able to bring something of value to the world to create positive outcome. And then that's my choice. I invite others to join me, but I respect you and love you no matter what your choice is.
Thank you, ma'am. So now, from now the situation and the vibes are getting very intense. So let's shift to some light mood things. Like ma'am is also a celebrated script writer. So ma'am, tell us about that. Something about that.
Something about what was that now? What was that last word?
Ma'am, script writer, celebrated script writer. So tell us something about that.
Script writer? I don't know
Script
that I'm
writer, ma'am.
script.
Yes, ma'am, script. Ma'am, I
Well,
have read somewhere that you have written a script and a book also.
okay. The script was actually a letter to a terrorist that got made into a very short film by an Indian filmmaker. And so that was the letter to the terrorist. But yes, I've written a book that will be published. It's been slightly delayed, but it'll be published in January of 2021, hopefully in time for the Jaipur Film Book Festival. And it is called Forgiveness is a Choice, Peace Teachings about Peace and Love. And that will be published by Penguin Random House India, which is a great honor for me. And I hope to be visiting you all, if not in person, then at least this way, but hopefully in person. And it's a
Ma'am,
book that, and I will outline all of the 30 ways to transform your life with love. Forgiveness is one of them. And we'll go through some experiences that I had in India that are great examples of some of these things, kindness and compassion. Many experiences I had in India with some of the students and the police officers, and that I offer some practices that you can use on your own to help you have some tools to use so that you can bring yourself to a state of peace and forgiveness.
thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, first thing and one more, like I want to say one thing. Ma'am, I want first copy. Like I want one copy of
Okay,
that book signed to you.
okay. Of course, of course.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
hope, like I say, I hope that the COVID-19 situation is settled down. If it's safe to travel, then I will certainly like to be there at the Jaipur Literary Festival, where we will launch the book and do a book tour and all kinds of things. But
Ma'am,
otherwise, we may have to do it virtually, but we'll see what we can
try
do.
visiting Lucknow also. Try visiting Lucknow also this time.
Of course, absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we'll have a adventure, another Indian
Yes, ma'am.
adventure. That'll be fun.
I'll take you around the city to a small tour.
We could plan some things. There's a lot we could do. We'll do a seminar, many things,
Yes,
many
ma'am.
things to do.
I would love to be in touch with you in your future also, and I would even
Yes.
like to be conducting such webinars with you in future also in near future.
Yes, well, we need some teachers for this is the book. My book is based on this pocket book of peace, which we
Okay,
liked it to
ma'am.
be translated into Hindi. And I have a young woman there, Avnik Kaur, who taught this in a school. It was the Millennium School in Meerut, north of Delhi.
Yes,
And
ma'am,
she
made it.
taught the entire assembly there, ages 5 to 13. And Avnit has great experience with this. So she's already an ambassador for peace. And you could also be an ambassador for peace. We can get this
Ma'am,
it's
I would
translated into
love to.
Marathi, but we would like more translations. And this, it's a good seminar to teach in business. In business, we created
I
a
would
business
love to be a part of this
to
thing.
increase.
Part of
Actually,
this project.
yes, and we did a program in Mumbai for a Pocket App, a business application company that to increase productivity. So that's a good use for it in business, productivity.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, you said that you have been to India many times and been here for many years also. So
Yes.
the one thing you liked about India and the one thing you don't like about India, kindly
Oh
tell us.
my. Oh, it's not fair to say what I don't like, but that's probably the same things you don't like. What I do like, I love the celebrations that were happening all the time. It seemed like there was always a holiday being celebrated. And the holiday, whether it was a religious holiday or a national holiday, people would join together. And they even different religions would celebrate each other's holidays. My cab driver was Muslim and he dropped me off. He goes, yeah, I'm going over to the Lakshmi temple. I said, Samir, you're Muslim. He goes, I know, ma'am, but I do arti. We celebrate each other's holidays. We invite them to for Eid, and they do, back and forth. They guarded each other's doors when there were riots. He said, yes, we had many Hindu neighbors. We stood up all night and guarded each other's doors. I saw that is the truth. So I know we read about a lot of conflicts, but I saw the truth of that kind of unity in Mumbai.
Yes, ma'am, I agree that India is a land of peace because it is it is a well settled thing in India that Hindus also celebrate Eid and Muslims take part in the festivals of Hindus.
All the time, and they all
But
celebrate
somehow,
Christmas. Everybody was celebrated Christmas.
yes,
There were
ma'am, even
Santas,
Christmas also.
Indian Santas all over the place.
Yes, ma'am.
It was
But
great.
somehow politics entered everything and it destroyed everything on the name of religion and caste. But still, that a subtle thing. The main thing is that India still believes in peace,
That's right.
and that's
And
the best thing.
I believe that there can be peace in politics. Politics, if it can move beyond its differences, work with the differences, respect each other, and
The birthday of Lord Shri Krishna.
ah,
So, yes, ma'am. Just 2 to 3 days
beautiful,
ago. Yes, ma'am.
lovely. I There is just such celebration and devotion to that. And I did the smiles. I love the Indian smiles, the Indian food, the bright colors. I loved all that. And Um, I guess to be fair, you asked me my least favorite thing. Probably the constant nonstop honking of horns in the cabs. But I love the cab drivers, and also being in the cab, I just learned to go within and meditate and found silence underneath the noise. So
Yes, ma'am. India is also known for its traffic jams also. And ma'am,
yes,
you said you love the food, Indian cuisine. So ma'am,
yes,
I would like to insist you so that next time if you visit India, do visit Lucknow because
I'd love to.
The Awadhi cuisine also had its special place in various Indian cuisines. The
Wonderful.
Awadhi cuisine. Yes,
I've
ma'am.
never been to Lucknow, and I've heard so much about that very sacred place. I'd love to visit. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. And it's known for its Awadhi monuments and also
Yes.
the Awadhi cuisine. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I'd
So,
love
ma'am,
that.
thank you for giving us time. And it
Thank
was
you.
very hard to manage for us because it's about 9 hours difference, time difference.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yes,
much
ma'am.
later there. So thank you for staying up later to do this for me.
Oh, ma'am, it's
Appreciate
about
that.
8 here. It's 8 here, 8:30,
Okay.
approx 8:30.
Okay. So it's just 11 o'clock, 11:06 right now here in the morning, late
Yes,
morning.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. And ma'am,
Thank you
lastly,
so
I
much.
want you Lastly, ma'am, I want to give you a small message on this auspicious day to all
Okay,
the Indians.
to all of the Indians.
Yes, ma'am. Because I don't know that to what population this video will reach, but I want that this video must reach a very large population of Indian mass. So, ma'am, I
Yes.
want the message for all the Indians.
Well, all Indians, it has to be a message of love because what I see in your eyes and in your smiles is pure love. Love for your country and love for each other. I saw that on the streets day after day when I was there. I saw that a lot more than I saw anything else. That to me is on the scale of the balance. There's a lot more love than anything else. So let's use that love. Use the love that binds you together to create the amazing India that you want to create as you move forward into the future. You will grow in so many areas. You are a treasure for the world. You have so much to offer the world. So much. And I know that the young Indian population is the greatest on earth because of the numbers you have, which means your creativity is huge. So, a message of love and encouragement for you to come forth and be all that you can be, and in all your beautiful colors, to shine bright as the stars and the suns that you are.
Thank you, ma'am. So, lastly, for concluding this session, I just want to say मजहब नहीं सिखाता आपस में बैर करना हिंदी है हम हिंदी है हम वतन है हिंदुस्तान हमारा सारे जहां से अच्छा हिंदुस्तान हमारा हैप्पी इंडिपेंडेंस डे थैंक यू मैम फॉर जॉइनिंग us from all the way from Virginia on this auspicious day. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, happy Independence Day, everybody, and may you be forever free.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye.